Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how y'all doing today? It is one of the happiest days of my life because I get to see one of my favorite games right now actually listen to what the people are saying, right? So let's just jump right in. If you aren't aware, we just got released the seasonal balance adjustment for Etheria Restart. And yeah, I've been addicted to that game. Really fun. And I am happy to see balance patches, I think with nerfs and buffs. Yo, Epic 7, I'm just saying. You gotta take some notes, you know, something needs some nerf, just nerf them, bro. Don't even like think about it. Nerfs and buffs, that's why it's balanced, not just buff everyone like slightly or buff someone really ridiculously and then the rest is like, evasion chance from 60 to 70. But yep, anyways, back to Etheria. What they've done well is, well, they have buffs and nerfs. I've just, you know, skimmed through. We'll go through this together to see if it's good. Now, they've listened and they have done something logical. They've nerfs and buffs, but let's say if they're good, right? Let's just jump in. Following the conclusion of the first RTA season, we have made several balance adjustments based on the performance of hyperlinkers and the current overall strength of animuses. Exactly as you should do for games like these. The details are as follows. We hope that in future seasons, all hyperlinkers will continue to share valuable feedback and suggestions regarding the game balance. Cool. If you listen to us, based on what you have here, I think you do, then that'll be good. The development team will carefully listen to every player's voice. Let's work together to make Etheria a more exciting world. Okay, let's see and be the judge of that. Animus adjustments. What do we have? The following changes are listed at the final effect when both animus and their skills are fully leveled at level 5, which most of us don't have that yet, but hey, that's cool. We'll go through all the characters first. Who do you have? I would prefer one thing E7 does better for these balance patches. They list down all the characters first and then they go into it, right? So, that's okay. We'll just do some more reading, right? They have buffed Hellkid. A lot of people say Hellkid are hell mid right now. Even in like World Champions' tier list, Hellkid is not like the highest one. But I do think he has potential with a bit of tuning. So good. And then there's Blade Holden. Don't know if that's buff for nerfs yet. But Holden's one of the strongest characters. I hope it's not a buff. Chloros. Pretty much only PvE so far that I see. Which, let's see what buffs or nerfs he gets. Probably a buff. Rahu. Probably a buff. If this guy gets a buff, turn 2 go crazy, yo. Real Mocha, they better not nerf Real Mocha out of nowhere. I doubt it's a nerf. It's probably a buff. But yep, Real Mocha Fidoki, if it gets nerfed, then I don't know who's complaining, right? I don't think anyone's complaining about Real Mocha. Hopefully it's not nerf. Fuchio, I think is probably getting a buff, but we'll read that later. Obero. In my stream yesterday, I literally said all the unused SR, because they are making this balance adjustment based off of the usage rate, and they want their whole game to be utilized, all the characters to be utilized. They really want to check out these SRs that's not being used, because there are SRs that's always being used, like Yang, like Kazuyo. So why another SR in the name of Obero doesn't get used? So she's definitely getting a buff in my opinion. Thunderbolt Grey, okay, not really used that much, but getting a buff would be good. What else are there? Chiaki, Illusions Reality Chiaki is a healer Chiaki, I'm pretty sure. Again, not really used that much. So fire that they looked at the characters that literally isn't used, slap a buff right away. Next season, they are going to be used more, or at least stay the same. But at least there's an attempt to make them be more usable, right? While Rampage Rin, again, not someone that is always used, I don't think. I do see her more than others, though. So, Rin might be someone you want to look into. Sutomu, no one uses that guy. Alright, do you even know who Sutomu is? Yeah, I doubt so. Marvel. I mean, he was good at the start, but now it's like, it's alright. Let's see what changes they do later, though. Makoto, dude, this is a big balance patch. That's a lot of characters. Makoto, Mizuki Makoto, showed out in like the show match of Vita, but it's actually a really good counter to someone like a Tiamat. If she gets a buff, then turn 2, you gotta keep an eye out for Makoto. Next up, Sybil, whatever the name is. No one uses her, so she gets a buff. Researcher 41, no one uses her, so she probably gets a buff. The normal Kachi, minor Kachi, nobody uses him, so he probably gets a buff. And this is the big one, Shell Adjustment. How are they dealing with Revelation? A lot of people complain about Revelation. Yup. Lo and behold, Revelation nerf. It's probably a nerf. I see red, it probably means a nerf, right? I would assume. So does that mean all the greens are buffs? We'll read all that later. When the host animus use skill 1, this one's Golden Lion next. Golden Lion usually for PvE, I think, right? On like a Vice to get your effect accuracy up. So we'll read that later. General adjustment. All shell skill will no longer be considered skill 1. Any effects that target or interact with skill 1 no longer apply to shell skills. Not really understanding what this means. Wait. Okay, I really don't understand what this means. Does that mean Shell, like Revelation, cannot trigger an S1? That kind of doesn't make any difference or sense, but we'll read that later. I understand it better. Module adjustment, Keen Eye can no longer be triggered by damage from shells. Okay, this is fine. This is fair enough. All right, fine and dandy. Let's just actually dive right into this now. What have you buffed for Hellkit? Let me zoom this in as well. Let's check this out. Hellkit, basic speed increase from 111 to 117 and can reach 127 when upgraded to 6 star. Hellkit is now an opener immunity buffer for your whole team. You're gonna see him in RTA. Okay. You're gonna definitely see him in RTA. That is really fast. I think that's one of the fastest base speed once you upgrade everything, right? So you might actually see Hellkit outspeeding everybody, get immunity. This is a good shout, a good way to deal with a potential CC team. Right? Because right now, in higher elo, I believe, CC team is one of the more annoying team comps. Not even as much as Revelation, low-key. So, having Hellkit being an immunity buffer that's fast, that is someone that you want to look out for. This Hellkit suddenly became pretty good, in my opinion. Alright, moving up next. Shroud Bearer skill 3. Instead of doing 240%, or rather, instead of giving 240% of his own attack as a Shroud Barrier, now it's 300%. So, more percentage, more shields, meaning more immunity. Why not? So, that's it. A pretty simple one. The big one, I think, is the speed increase. Hellkit, no longer Hell Mid. He's probably the Hell Giver, the Hell Bringer now. Right? Immunity for everybody. If you don't strip it, good luck trying to Kazuyo spam. Yeah? So, fire. I like that. Number 2, Banmoku Blade Holden. This character is already one of the best bruisers in this game right now. And I think green means he actually gets a buff. Holy shit. Deals 3 hits of damage to a single enemy. Hits equals to an increased amount to 125% of his own defense. This on skill 1 has a 25% chance now to get defense down. I don't think he needed a buff. I think his damage was fair enough anyway, but now he gets more damage. Okay, this one I actually don't understand. I don't think he needed it. But sure, if you give it to him, this might make him really strong, man, next season. He's already a really strong bruiser right now, right? But okay. Execution mode, exclusive passive. Upon entering battle, gains from 10 to 12% counter rate, from 5 to 6% final damage for every 500 defense. Usually people target 3,000 defense on like an endgame build Holden. So now with 3,000 defense, how much are you looking at? 3,000. I don't know why I can't just mental math this. 72% counter rate now. If you have 3k defense, that is damn near full, right? With Bramble set, you are gonna see him counter a lot. He is going to be one of the most picked bruisers, in my opinion, coming into next season. That's a really strong buff. Not sure if he needed it. Let me know what you think. In my personal opinion, he could have done without, right? He's already fine so far. But, well, we'll keep on going. The SSR Chloros, usually just a Teramaton farmer. What do you do now? Vital dash permanently increased by 25 to 35. That means PvE, if you're using a Chloros, he's now better at doing his job. Maximum increase of 100 to 105. This is just a PvE, making PvE easier, which people are complaining PvE is a bit too hard, especially the casual players. So this is good. So maybe now Chloros might be someone you want to like check out for an Inferno clear if you haven't cleared any of those, right? Usually he's using Teramaton, I believe, but yep, for you Chloros users, rejoice, he gonna be even better. But otherwise, not really too important. Let's just keep on moving to Rahu. This one's a big one. Rahu currently is on paper really good, but in reality, he brings less than like a Tiamat. He brings less than like a Holden. This is what I've gathered from like a tier list from like the world champion. I've watched a video on Vulcan's channel. Insanely informative video. You should check that out. But yep, Rahu is not like the difference maker type of character yet. At least as not as impactful as someone like a Tiamat right now. But they're not far apart. So any buffs to Rahu right here might make him shoot up. The stocks will go way up, right? Investors rejoice because I'm one of the investors in Rahu. I can't wait for this. So, skill 1. The percentage of damage increase from 350% to 380%. That's a pretty big chunk of increase, right? Of his own defense. And then a 60 to 80% chance to inflict defense down. This is big. One of the ways you kill characters quick with Rahu is landing that defense down, following attack with an ally into the character that has defense down. That damn near one-shots it, right? So this makes Rahu so much more consistent and so much more scary. Any Bramble, suddenly you have defense down, right? That sounds crazy. All right, what about skill 3? Flame Authority. This is the AoE. Rahu still grants defense up for 2 turns. That's good. Still gets the Wrath stacks. That's good. Deals damage, increased amount of damage from 360% to 400% of his own defense. that is a pretty decent chunk of damage increase as well, right? That's like what, 10% increase? 10 something percent increase? Like that is quite a lot. So you're gonna see like an HP bar before maybe it half health someone, it now does more than half, like 60% of HP of someone, at least like, you know, on paper, very directly, that's what it means. But yes, he just does more damage now. Who can complain about that? Rahu gonna be pretty good, I think, especially for the fact that he's more consistent with the defense down. So you want to look out for Rahu, chat. I mean, I'm not streaming, but you know what I mean. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I think Rahu has this buff, making him better. Is not that ridiculous. This is a good buff, all right? This is a good buff. So, moving up next, Real Mocha. Dessert time, this is skill 2. Final damage increase, so the greens are buffs. I'm happy to see that. So, I don't gotta touch the Doki Doki run I have. Real Mocha is still fire. Candy attack, skill 3. Increase damage dealt. Fire. So, now you're more consistent with Inferno runs now. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter too much because you have to land your CCs. But still, that's good. The first hit has a 100% chance to inflict stun. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. And the rest are the same. So, it's good for Doki runs, basically. Nothing much changed. But hey, it's good. Why not? So, fire for Roboka. Next off, the SSR Futsu. So, what buff did you get? The 4th anime effect's been changed for F accuracy to F res. Okay, this is just like quality of life, I would say. Because she does not need F accuracy, so anything in her kit that gives F accuracy doesn't really make too much sense. Getting her F res instead makes more sense. Not a big deal, but not bad, right? This is like a, oh, we didn't make the logical move of giving her the right stats. Let's just fix that in this balance rush real quick. Hey, that's good. That's all right. So next off, Oboro. This one I want to pay attention to. The SRs in this game, even the R are good, right? Vice is good. Hella good, in fact. So I want to see what the SRs get. They could change the meta just being SRs. We'll see. Buff, bleeding. At the start of the turn, takes indirect damage equals to from 50 to 100% of the player's attack. That's double. That's double. Right now, she don't do no damage, right? That's double now. Oh my god. This is the buff to the bleeding dot, right? The bleeding effect. So it now does a lot more indirect damage. Does that change her that much? I don't think it would change her too much, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. The damage could be insane here. I feel like no one has really given Oboro like hardcore endgame builds, but now if you build like a 5k attack Oboro with 100% indirect damage with bleeds, that could be something crazy. Maybe paired with like a Shadow Sonya. Actually, not Shadow Sonya, but you know what I mean. As long as you have a team that utilizes the bleeding, keep yourself alive, and they could be taking a bunch of damage, right? This might be good in like a CC / debuff team, but in terms of usability, we'll have to see first. The damage is insane though. It's doubled, like straight up doubled her damage output, right? So I am keen to see how good she becomes. This is interesting. But this is great, right? Oboro, no one used it in the first season. They instantly slam a buff on it. Fire Decision. Okay, next up, SR, Thunderbolt Grey. A really good early game character, but then after that, you're kind of just like, you know, don't use it as much. So what happens with my boy Grey? S3 now deals an additional 120% to 160% now. So that's like a 20% increase. I like to do random numbers, but I'm not good enough to really do that. It's more than 20. It's like 30% damage increase. Wow. So Thunderbolt Grey does a lot more damage now. Okay. I don't think it changes what he's supposed to do that much. And if anything, it'll help him in PvE, right? You clear stuff better. I know some people use Grey for like Doki. It's gonna be better for him now, I suppose. You get more damage in. Why not? So for PvP, I don't think it'll change too much, right? Because usually Thunderbolt Grey S2, S3, you're not killing stuff first unless you Revelation. But even then, I don't think he'll just one-shot stuff. But he'll be better, for sure. Why not? Alright, next off. Illusions Reality Chiaki. This one's the healer Chiaki. So now, on the S3, Chiaki fills numerous origamis, heals all allies. The healing amount is 30% of each target's max HP. For every 2% HP loss, healing is increased by an additional 1.2 and grants 2 stacks. And now, after the buff, instead of 2 stacks, you get 3 stacks of Origami Guardian to each target, lasting for 5 turns. Origami Guardian, I believe, is like a damage reduction effect. I could be wrong, but it's basically whatever buff you get from an S3, right? Damage reduction and heal, I think. I could be wrong about this, but this makes her so much more viable now for turn 2. The extra stacks mean you have 1 extra turn of just damage mitigation or healing. Basically, whatever effect Origami Guardian is. That makes her as an SR healer very much better. I don't know if she's at the same level like Sonya, probably not, but she is closer now than ever before, right? If they pick Sonya Linglong, you really want to go for the Rahu plus healers. You run out of healers. Chiaki is now a valid choice, I think, just because you have one extra turn of just safety, right? Pair that with a Doki, you know, you can reset. By the time the 3 stacks is over, you have it again, yeah? So that's not bad. I think Chiaki is worth looking into. Next off, SR Wild Rampage Rin. This is the defense type Rin, right? So, Source Guard, this is a skill 2. Grants all allies defense up for 2 turns and shield equal to 300% now of her own defense. Increased shield amount, very simple buff. What about the cooldown? The cooldown this skill is reduced from 4 to 3. Okay, she's very annoying now. She can be very annoying now. Yeah? You get a shield on the S2. You get it earlier as well with a turn decrease of cooldown, right? So she could be very interesting. Another SR that got the buff and now is very interesting. You could actually use her very well paired with someone like Rahu. In fact, use Rin, this Rin, plus a Chiaki, plus that Rahu, plus a maybe Sonya at the side. You get the whole Rahu stall comp, right? And getting defense buff on Rahu is like getting Exodia. Yeah? You're gonna do way more damage. So look out for Rin for turn 2 players. I think she has very good potential here. Next up, Tsutomu. I love Tsutomu. The kit looks so sick. No one uses him, unfortunately, because he doesn't bring enough in the kit. So let's see what changes now. Skill 2, Vanishing Shade. Tsutomu deals 2 hits of up to 200% now, before his 160%, to a single enemy. Each hit has 60% before, and now 80% chance to steal 1 random buff from the target. It doesn't change him mechanically too much. Damage-wise, I still don't think he's one-shotting anything at all. But the chances to steal above is increased, which is nice, but practically it's not too consistent anyway, right? Because it's one random buff. You don't know what you're gonna steal. You don't know if you are going to steal. It's still kind of up in the air. But let's check out skill 3. Lunar Blitz deals 2 hits of 240% to 80% damage to a single enemy. If the final hit is a crit, there is a 100% chance to inflict wound and block for 2 turns. This is an interesting tag. The only person that can wound and block at the same time with one skill. But it's only on a single enemy, and the damage dealt is increased, which is nice, which is what he has an issue before. He doesn't do enough damage. So now that alleviates that. However, mechanically he's still the same. So is he good now? I think he's better than before, obviously, but I don't think he'll be that insane. Just based on the fact that there's a lot of RNG, right? It's a random buff in the target. You don't know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get your wound and block, which is nice, but then, you know, there's a lot of cleanses you gotta think about. And instead of just wound and blocking up an enemy, I feel like it's crazier to just go, you know, block with Heinrich on the whole of enemy team. Why not just block all of them instead of one, right? Unless the damage ends up being insane. But I doubt it, because this is a debuffing skill after all. So, yeah, interesting one. We'll see how he ends up being. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe his damage is actually insane now. And maybe utility-wise he's better. And perhaps against the new Liliam, this will be insane. Liliam's immune to CC, but she ain't immune to death. She ain't immune to wound, which Liliam heals up, so wound might be good against Liliam. She buffs herself attack and speed as well. Block also helps with that. So, hey, yo, Tsutomu, if Liliam ends up being really good, Tsutomu might be someone you want to ban protect. If they ban protect the Liliam, so you can just one-shot, make sure the Liliam ain't got nothing. Wound and block, can't be healed, can't buff, and then potentially one-shot her, right? So, interesting on Tsutomu. We'll see how he ends up being. Next up, Marvel. Green means it's a buff. Marvel was insane at the start of the game, but then as time go by, you just move on to like the Miyodoki Lily, right? He's no longer the crazy opener that everyone first picked. You still see him a lot though, so let's see what changed. The skill 3 is now from 5 to 4 turns. I think this is what it was in the beta, and then they increased the CD to 5. But now I think they reverted it to 4 now after the buff, right? So 4 turns on the S3 for Marvel. This is actually good for PvE, in Terramaton especially. I've used Marvel and Terramaton in the beta, and yeah, the idea was he was so quick. He can get that skill back up so quickly and then push him back. You win from there. So this is good for PvE, in my opinion. Also good in Ember Trek. There are some techs where you just keep on resetting Marvel, making sure he push enemies back, right? Now it's way easier to do that. So fire on the Marvel. In PvP, it doesn't change too much, because usually if you use Marvel, you won't get to use the second skill 3. You want to finish him quickly. But overall, it's a good buff for Marvel. You're going to see more Marvel in especially PvE for sure. That's how I see it. Next up, Mizuki. I already thought she was solid enough as an R character. So, wait, oh, Mizuki's an SR, my bad. I thought she was an R. Alright, SR character then. Basic speed increase, can reach 120 up to the 6 star, okay. Solidly quick, solidly speedy, but not opener speed. And next off, skill 1, straight punch. This is the one where she uses the most, because you always counter with S1 with Mizuki, right? So now it increases the damage level from 300% to 360. That's a huge chunk of increase, right? That's a big increase. With 50% chance to dispel one buff from the target. Usually this is used to counter like Tiamat, because you keep dispelling the buffs, right? And plus it's just good damage as you keep on countering and such. So yeah, Mizuki, bro, you want to look out for this character if you're turn 2 especially. She is now definitely a lot better, right? Yeah, I feel like it's fine. Like, I feel like she's underrated to begin with. So now with the buff, she's just shot up. The stocks just shot up. She will now be a good character straight up, in my opinion. Okay, cool. I gotta build a Mizuki. Next off, Cybele, however you pronounce it. No one uses her. So let's see what happens with her, right? Skill 2 deals 3 hits of 120% damage now to a single enemy. Okay, just a slight damage increase, not that big a deal. Whirling Tempest, skill 3, deal 4 hits of 110% damage to a single enemy. Each hit has 50 to 60% chance to inflict defense down. Higher chance to decrease defense. Higher damage now, not by that much, but still a good chunk. So, not that big of a change. I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of Cybele. So, hey, it's an R character. They know this R character is not used a lot. And they're changing it. So, maybe we'll see more of her. I don't know if it's going to be in PvP though. Probably just in PvE. But yeah, she now consistently lands defense down way more consistently. So maybe that's good. Like 4 hits of defense down, you pretty much guarantee it now. So yeah, maybe she'll be pretty good in like Termaton, where we really want to like make sure this one enemy dies quickly. But otherwise, not that big a deal. Next up, Researcher number 41. Before she's actually, in the beta at least, actually low-key broken. Or at least in PvP, you're going to actually see Researcher number 41 being the opener, because you actually turn meter push yourself by 25%. I think that was the beta. So they basically reverted it, no? I could be wrong about this, but yeah, before it's turn meter increase, you get your whole team to turn and you kill them, right? So now, from 20% turn meter increase, it's now 25. That's good. You might actually see some Researcher 41 now. I'm not sure about her base speed though. I don't think she's the fastest character. So realistically, I don't think it changes too much. She's just slightly better. Okay, Kachu, what about you? Has a 35, now 50% chance to inflict a stun. Okay, not that big a deal. You get more chance to stun, but you're an art character. Fair enough. I don't think we'll randomly see Kachu being the GOAT. But yeah, that's fair enough. It's an art character. So they prefer R to be at R's level, not just doing everything, right? Why does Vice suddenly become like, I mean, why does Vice get a privilege to be the best R of all time by that much? I'm not sure, but well, fair enough. The rest of the R's are not that great, but not horrible, I suppose. That's how I see it. Shell Adjustment, this is the big one. Revelation, the only thing that got nerfed. In PvP modes, Revelation will be affected by the Etheria effect, protection field, reducing damage up by 30%. This is one of the nerf ideas I had in the beginning, where you don't touch PvE, because PvE with the Yellies, right? If you touch PvE, Yelly no longer kill the boss. You suddenly lose your auto team for Infernos. That would be horrible. But here's the problem. Now in PvP, Revelation is just way worse. Because Yelly Revelation now might not kill. Messiah Revelation now might not kill. That means turn 2 has 1 less counter. That means turn 2 gonna be way better. They also just buffed Hellkid. I wouldn't say Hellkid is necessarily 100% turn 2, but Rahu definitely. Rahu got a buff. Holden got a buff. All turn 2 characters. Or like, you don't just outspeed and kill. Therefore, turn 2 are standard. And then Mizuki got buff, right? All these characters are good in turn 2. And now Revelation got nerfed. Before, Revelation's just killing them anyway. Or they have a chance at killing like even bulky characters without having the right to do so. So now, they no longer have that right. Revelation does not just one-shot you no more. 30% damage reduction is big. Like, before you could kill the whole team, damn near one-shot whole team with 2 Revelation AoE characters. A Freya into like a high-rate Revelation, you one-shot them, right? Or like a Selin's Revelation, rather. Now, you might need 3 Revelation. And you won't even kill yet, I don't think. You might see some people living on like 1 with 3 Revelations, right? That's reduced damage by 30. That's huge. So, yep, Revelation, chat. Revelation's gone. We're complaining about Revelation. I think we won't be able to see Revelation in PvP anymore. or at least not as much as before, especially on like the speedy characters, right? This is pretty bad for my playstyle for sure. And yeah, turn 2 is probably the way to go for the next season. And pros and cons. Okay, pros, Revelation will no longer be unfair. Because why is it unfair? Right now, the Obos, the Kazuyos, the characters that just shouldn't do that much damage because of the utility they bring to you, because of the debuffs they bring, the control they bring, suddenly with Revelation, they also have health view. That was just unbalanced, unfair, and it makes no sense. So now, they just removed that. The openers that can CC you can no longer do as much damage. And 30% is a big deduction. So that's the pro. Okay, now it makes more sense. People might be more inclined to just not put Revelation on like even the CC characters, outspeed you, stun you, and half health you. They can only stun you and maybe do a chunk of your HP, right? So the cons, the Revelations for Yeli, Revelations for Messiah, those will be nerfed too. So right now, if you don't know, like higher up, you're gonna see Bloodbath Hoyens, just so she can live like a Messiah, right? Messiah is designed to just kill the Hoyen, ignoring the passive, right? But now people found a way to just go Bloodbath Hoyen, so the Messiah don't kill the Hoyen, and suddenly they lost the S3 on the Messiah. Hoyen's alive. You just die, right? And usually Messiah's on Revelation. At least there are people who run Revelation on him. So now Messiah has an even harder time to kill any Hoyens, let alone Bloodbath Hoyens. That's bad. Same for Yeli. In fact, for normal Hoyens, they actually want Yeli to kill the normal Hoyen with the S3, so that Hoyen could counter one-shot Yeli. Revelation being nerfed, you might actually not even kill the Hoyen. That's so bad for that scenario. So you might want to change shells on these specific characters. Maybe instead, go for count, right? Count might be better than Revelation. Then I don't know how the calculations go, but those are the pros and cons, right? Gotta see both sides. Let me know what you think about this one. I think this is not the perfect solution, but it is a good solution. Not the perfect one though, because a perfect solution would allow the DPS with Revelation to still function. Like Messiah will still do so much damage because he's a DPS that should do that much damage, and he doesn't CC your whole team. The Revelation on him makes okay sense because you help him do more damage. You don't just like CC the whole team though. Same with Yeli. But yeah, the problem was the Obos Kazuyas that just outspeed, CCs you, and Revelation one-shot you. Those were the true problems. So the perfect solution would just solve the opener speed stuff that with Revelation one-shots you, but don't touch the other like actual damage dealers that really wants to just do damage because they deserve to, and that's their role. So yeah, those are pros and cons in my opinion. Given it's not the worst of ways to deal with this, because you know at least now you don't see Obo Kazuya outspeed one shot. All right, we've solved enough. Let's just move on. Golden Lion. This one's a pretty simple one, I think. Increases the host final damage by 5% now to 8%. F accuracy by 7% now to 15%, and the maximum stacks reduced from 8 to 5. This means we, using Golden Lion, can accumulate stacks way faster. I think this is usually just good for like a Vice, right? Golden Lion getting the F accuracy up. Or final damage is this good for anyone, I guess Rahu can think of, but I don't foresee you going this on Rahu. You usually Artisan, right? So yeah, I mean, not bad. Not bad. It's okay. Next up, general adjustment. This one I still don't understand exactly what it means. Shell skill will no longer be considered as a skill 1. Any effects that target or interact with skill 1 no longer apply to shell skills. I'm really not sure what that means. From how I'm reading it, it means S1 will no longer be applied with shell skill. Which is weird. I'm not sure why that be. So my Romoka S1 would no longer be buffed with like a count. Why so? I'm not exactly sure. My Hoyen with count does not get the buff anymore on S1. Is that true? No shot, right? I'm really not exactly. You can let me know what this means, but I don't think it's clear enough. If you understand it better, let me know in the comment section. All right, let's just move on. Moderate adjustment, Keen Eye can no longer be triggered by damage from shells. This is like fair, whatever, right? Not that big a deal. Yeah, that'll be all. What do we think? A conclusion real quick, right? This is a pretty solid balance patch. They address like a lot of weaker characters. They address the problem that we've been yapping about, the Revelation speed openers that just shouldn't be able to suddenly do as much damage because they can stun your whole team, but they are able to. So they've dealt with that, reducing damage dealt. This is a big one. But then it also hurts like the Yeli Messiahs though. So that's the only bad thing. There's like an indirect nerf to Yeli Messiah. But then again, This might just mean instead of Revelation, you run Count. Instead of Revelation, you run Void. Something else on these DPS characters, right? So we'll see how the meta turns out. It's not the worst of things, right? It's definitely not the worst of things. The only thing that we'll say is that turn 2 is going to be even better. Here's the deal. I think the meta is different for casual players or like normal level players and top level players. The meta is just so different, right? Like, for me, there's no perfect answer. Because right now, the early game or casual players, they run Revelation because it's easy to obtain and it's easy to do. They don't have the Lighthouse because they can't clear like Inferno Rango yet. They don't have the Lighthouse, they don't have the Bloodbath maybe, they haven't cleared Aurora, stuff like that. But yeah, if they haven't, it's hard for them to go turn 2. They don't have enough golden lattice to upgrade like turn 2 characters. They don't have enough cards because they committed everything into the speedier characters, the Lily, the freaking Mios. They don't have enough golden lattices for like the Tiamat, the Rahu, the Holdens. Maybe it's a case like that. So they're going fast, and suddenly we're being told that Revelation's nerf 30% damage reduced. So it's gonna be a lot tougher for casual players to like recover from this. Maybe next season, casual players will have to rebuild their account and slowly get back into RTA if they choose to do so. Because turn 2 should become a lot stronger. Does that mean Revelation's completely dead? I don't think so, but it's gonna be a lot harder to Revelation. Because what I would do as a person countering Revelation, I would go Bloodbath on everybody, which is what is usually done anyway. And I'll just make sure you don't have 3 Revelation characters. And in a draft, you can only get 4 characters in a game. So I'm more than certain I can get rid of one of the Revelation characters. You maybe have 2 left. If you don't kill me, you run out of juice, you're dead, right? So it's gonna be a lot tougher for Revelation spammers. But it is like a deserved nerf though, right? It is too strong anyway. And for top level players, this makes turn 2 even better. Right now, I feel like top level players, they already have a very stable turn 2 playstyle with also Revelation playstyle. Revelation is now gonna like drop a lot. Turn 2 is gonna rise up. So yeah, so different meta in every like rank. So let me know what you think. This is tough for me to like have a conclusive idea about how to rate this. I feel like overall it is good though. It is a good patch overall, right? Not the perfect one, but it's a good one. Yeah. Any characters I would prefer seeing as well, I would prefer seeing like a Victor. I don't think anyone's using Victor. He should be buffed as well. Anyone that I'm not happy that is being buffed, not really. I'm happy with all these, but I will only say the only one that's like, why did we buff him? Holden, right? I don't think he needed it, but getting some, not bad, I suppose. Gonna make him a bit better. And that is all for my take. And share me yours in the comment section down below. I'll be streaming later tonight as well, probably in like 8 hours. You can let me know your thoughts on the stream as well if you want to like hop in and check out. I'll be live on YouTube, live on Twitch, all that good stuff. And yeah, that'll be all. If you guys enjoyed this one, W for the devs to at least listen to us about like the whole Revelation thing, right? So W for the devs as well to have a really big patch as they promise at the end of the season with a lot of underused characters as well. They're delivering on what they said they would do. So for all of that, I rate this an 8 out of 10. And that'll be all. If you guys enjoyed this one, take care.